I'm going to be comparing today ride feel, trying to focus more on suspension than anything else, of this, the Haibike with a Pinion E12, against this, which is a Mondraker Crafty RR. Is it worth it? Is this an interesting concept? Is this something that will make a solid difference in bike performance and bike feel when riding? Welcome to Abitone. I'm back. This, the Haibike ALL MTN with the Pinion E12 gearbox. So the idea is one descent with this, descent with the Mondraker Crafty, and then another descent with this, and then sort of a rough opinion about how that goes. The most useful thing I found is when I make a mistake with the gears, I can just shift. I'm in the right gear to start from a dead stop. It's not an exact match comparing the two bikes. This is the ALL MTN 8,500 euro version, Pinion gearbox. We've got DT Swiss H1900 wheels, Silo RockShox fork, gold, so it's not the best fork, but I'm not too interested in that really. And we've got a deluxe piggyback rear shock here. And you know, we're at 1,800 meters, so there's plenty of descent here. I'm not looking for high speed, I'm looking for feeling and sensation on the bike. Don't forget this video is supported by Leat. Today I'm wearing their full body armor, neck brace, along with a Gravity 6 helmet. 1,800. So I set the suspension up reasonably well on this. It's right, necessarily the right size bike for me, but in these conditions I should be okay. So let's get into the first. We'll start at the trails. Gap. Oh, that flies easy. I mean, the bike's quite small, so I got to take it easy. I can feel I'm not as stable as I'd like to be. Noticing on the chatter that the rear suspension is pretty smooth. Very interesting. I'm quite tired, so we're not going to push it hard. Just going to take it easy. Ooh, there's some holes here. Okay, we're going to go down the red trail. Right, not much to commentate apart from it feels really smooth on the compressions. Trail conditions are perfect today. Change of direction, it's quite maneuverable, this bike. Quite a technical trail. It's not super fast trail because this bike is hugging the ground. How is that possible? Dead quiet as well, no noise. All I can hear is the freewheel. Absolutely quiet bike. I mean, this is more of a trail bike, ALL MTN obviously, it's not an enduro bike. I like the preset, get into the right gear. You don't need that smooth shift junk. Select the gear. Okay, big hits doesn't feel much different from what I'm aware of. So my initial impressions are, considering this is not an enduro bike, it feels very low on fatigue. And I'm not going super fast, obviously. Really low on fatigue. Ooh, that was interesting. In the compressions, it feels like there's less, I don't know how to say it, just less of a, feels a bit more sprightly. Prancing through the woods. Wow. Right, not much overrun there. This is where there's an advantage. You suddenly hit the gear and you're up and over. It pops and flies well. Very quiet. Like, this is dead silent. Okay, and we're at the bottom of the trail. First thing I'm noticing, just riding on the flat, is that in the MTB Plus mode, this bike, compared to, say, the Fly mode on that, is way more powerful, more responsive, feels more sprightly, quicker response. So I don't know if that can be tuned in the app. I didn't manage to find the app to tune that on that motor. So we'll see. Anyway, we're going up now on the Mondraker Crafty RR. Right, up we go on the RR. First thing I noticed immediately sitting on it is the bike is a bit bigger. It's a medium size. It is more of an ALL MTN enduro rather than just an ALL MTN, so it's likely to be a bit longer for the medium. And Mondraker are known for making longer bikes. This would feel like the L size of the Haibike probably. It's got a 38 on the front. I think that's going to be an interesting test to see if 38 can match a 35 and gearbox feel or not. That'll be an interesting combination to compare when we're coming down. 800 watt hour battery, similar size battery as the Haibike. This retails around the same price, or a bit more. No, it's about the same price. But gearbox is definitely a more expensive item on the bike. The base level component build on that bike is lower quality than this bike. for a similar price. I've got it with 100 Newton meter mod, not doing any climbing, we're just focusing on the downhill ride feel. A bit more stable, this medium size. It rolls faster. Okay, first bit was interesting. It's a rolly gravel road really, with a bit of rocks on it. This thing's faster, definitely faster, but it's not as smooth. Even though the suspension is set up is essentially the same. This shock is a better shock than the other one, but the other one's a bit smoother. You can't do a direct comparison between bikes, so I'm really focusing on just feeling the rear suspension. What does it feel like? I want to know the change of directions. Okay, that launches more. This bike is longer, way more stable, so. All right then, so we get to the rough enduro track. Okay, the brakes are better as well. I've got a bit more control. Geometry is more aggressive. I can go a bit faster. Also, suspension seems to be a little bit more support. Doesn't seem to dive as much on the rear. But the impacts are not as nice. And it is marginally noisier. Although there's not very much rattle, I can still hear some rattling. And I've got noisy brakes. Front fork is definitely better. More to the big impacts. What? Wow, this is fun. That's where it doesn't feel as good on the landing and the rebound. It's not the same bike, obviously, but the response is a bit more. The suspension is more front to back, so you're either on the back or you're on the front. You're not in the middle. It hasn't got the same feel. You can feel it. The change of direction of the suspension. Back up for the third run. That was interesting, the second run. Not quite sure. The Mondraker is more aggressive, faster bike. I mean, that's just about so. I can feel a difference on the rear suspension. This feels so far like it's got more like a sort of squishy feel where the bike is moving, the rider and the suspension is moving like this. Maybe the setup's a bit better, I don't know. You can hear the tires and that's it. You don't hear any clattering, no tick, 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 no freewheel. It's quieter. Okay. It feels smoother, and I don't have to worry about chain clatter. Like sometimes I think, oh, I've got to put my pedals in the right position to make sure the chain's not loose. I'm not worrying about that with this. Wow, this thing is smooth and silent. Okay, so changing of direction. This bike is more maneuverable because it is a little smaller. It feels like you've got more grip. I don't know how to explain it, but it definitely feels like you've got more grip. When you land, the rear suspension just feels a bit more together. Wow. Grip is so good. This is dead quiet. It's so quiet. The front to back movement feels more under control. You stick to the ground more. It can't just be the shock tune. It's also the weight on the rear wheel is making a huge difference. And you're not worrying about your derailleur, chain slap. Okay, that was a bit more of a heavier hit, but nothing like shocking. Overall, it feels like you've got more control. Feels like to me. Yeah, it's more. The weight distribution is different. This makes a noticeable difference. Okay, this is what I like. Double shift, I'm in the right place. Ah, beautiful. On my left, the Haibike with the Pinion. On the right, I have Mondraker with a Bosch Performance CX with 100 Newton meters. What's the thing then?
Which one is better?
Which one is better? You want to know?
I don't really care.
Well, just to say hello.
That one's better.
Ah, this is the
Pinion, yeah.
The pinion.
This is better.
But because of the pinion or because of the bike?
The suspension.
Suspension.
Because there's no weight here. It just works in a sort of
Floating.
You just feel like this all the time. Like you sit between the suspension. It's smoother because there's no weight here. So the change of direction on the rear shock, it feels like you've got a fork on the back rather than on the front. This is a good bike. This is not like a bad bike. It's fast. This is a bit faster because it's a bit more aggressive. Because I can't compare exactly, but basically this thing is.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah. Anyway, well, maybe that's just answered the the conclusion. I can't say a better grip. I mean, that's what it feels like. Smoother, more better grip. A less fatiguing ride. This thing is a brilliant bike. I think that the Bosch motor is super responsive. It just gives you the power immediately when you need it. There's no delay. It's torque related, so you put your foot on the power pedal, boom! It gives you the pressure in synchronization with your pedal pressure and torque. It's not about cadence. It's really a smooth, responsive motor. I really love it. This thing is fast. This is faster than this for sure, because this has got better geometry. And that's just about the weight distribution on the rear wheel. I mean, it feels like that. I mean, the rear suspension seems to work better. And theoretically, it hasn't got, you know, the same quality shock on it as this and the same quality setup, but more grippy, more in control ride compared to this. This is faster, you skip over things, but it feels like you're sort of more front to back on suspension, so you're sort of more finding yourself on the suspension. Spend a lot more time setting this up, I think. This thing, it's just like, it's easy. It's kind of easier, basically. This is a first ride, a first back-to-back comparison. I haven't seen anyone do this, anyone else. So I think from this point of view, we haven't got the same bikes. They're not the same setups. They're not the same components. But the concept, if we're talking about the concept, then I think we're in a place where this is super interesting. And let's get to the conclusion then. For improving and making an e-bike ride feel more like a cycle bike ride, feeling more difference, let's say, something that you really feel is improving the ride, I think this design of bike makes a bigger difference than a traditional rear derailleur and cassette setup, and more power. More power is great, more battery great, yes. This bike is amazing. This bike is an amazing bike. I can't say it isn't. This concept feels like a significant step into an improved, smoother, right now, I can't say more than that, riding experience. I need to try this setup on that style of bike more. I tried the Nikolai, but it was a bit heavy. Motor speed and power, this has got more, definitely. It's okay, it's fast response. As a concept though, I think the future's quite, for a real difference, forget 1,000 Newton meters, forget 120 Newton meters of torque. This suspension, no weight here, probably the better choice. Right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye everybody.